So Jeffrey Epstein apparently left a suicide note, and it's now public, unlike Howard Lutnick's testimony in Congress yesterday, which was behind closed doors. Though we have some reporting on what happened, so I'll let you know. We also have reporting on how the FBI director brings a stash of personalized engraved bourbon with him wherever he goes, which he hands out as gifts. Republicans in Congress want to pass a bill to give Trump $1 billion of our taxes to build his ballroom. And don't get me started on the debris from that ballroom construction, which is toxifying the local air. Marco Rubio is visiting the Pope while Trump is feuding with him. And then we have some stupid news about AI and RFKJr. Let's get into it. The Jeffrey Epstein story will not die, even if he did. Yesterday, a federal judge unsealed a document that the DOJ alleges is Epstein's suicide note, which was found by his former cellmate tucked into a graphic novel after his body was removed from their cell. The note reads, "They investigated me for months, found nothing. It's a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? Bust out crying? No fun. Not worth it." It honestly reads as a mix between a 2018 Trump tweet and a Kyle Cook tantrum. In other Epstein-related news, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick went to Congress yesterday for his closed-door testimony with the House Oversight Committee. He was questioned about the conflicting information he's given about his relationship with Epstein, his former next-door neighbor, particularly his claims that when he met Epstein in 2005, he and his wife found Epstein disgusting and would have no social or professional relationship with him, and that they had only ever met with Epstein 3 times. However, 2 of those 3 times were after Epstein's 2008 conviction, including the time he visited Epstein's island for lunch with his family and several nannies, which we only know about because there was a photo of Lutnick with his sons on the island buried in the Epstein files. When asked by the committee why he would bring his family and the nannies to the island of a convicted pedophile who he refused to have a social or professional relationship with, he told the committee that what he meant by that was that he wouldn't have a one-on-one relationship with Epstein as opposed to a group setting. What if the group is your family and your nannies who you brought to the island? Or did the boat steer itself there? It is really an administration full of responsible decision makers, isn't it? And the Atlantic has really been on Kashpatel's ass, hasn't it? The journalist, Sarah Fitzpatrick, who FBI Director Kash recently sued for $250 million for her reporting that Kash is frequently drunk, passed out, and or missing, has more reporting out today about Dear Director. Her latest article cites multiple sources who claim that Patel flies around the country on government planes that we pay for, which carry his stash of personalized bourbon that he hands out as gifts to employees, work contacts, and civilians alike, like a perverse Santa. The bottles are Woodford Reserve and engraved with his name and the FBI shield, which seems like IP theft on top of it all. And one of those bottles even ended up on an online auction site, which the Atlantic purchased from a seller who said Patel gave it to him at an event in Las Vegas. You know, you guys are all hating on Kash, but I think it's a good sign that he's willing to give away any liquor rather than consuming it all himself. True addict's hoard. You can honestly kind of understand why Kash thinks this behavior is okay, given that his boss is potentially on the verge of being given, legally by Republicans in Congress, $1 billion of taxpayer money to build his tacky ballroom. Remember when he claimed that it was going to cost $300 million and would be paid for by corporate sponsors? Well, that seems to have escalated. But let's be real. No ballroom costs $1 billion, no matter how bad the tariffs are on the lumber. This is about building a bunker, and I think we should start referring to it as that. And by the way, in case you thought Donald Tello was living on a construction site where the ball bunker is being built, that is not so. You probably remember that in order to start the ball bunker construction, back when it was only supposed to cost $300 million and Amazon was going to pay for it, Donald Tello randomly demolished the east wing of the White House one day. And this mostly flew under the radar, but all of that debris from the demolition had to be cleared, and what they did was dump it at a public golf course in Maryland, which is run by the National Park Service, which Donald Tello incidentally also says he wants to renovate, even though it's a national park. But now, the East Wing debris that Trump has dumped at that golf course has tested positive for lead, chromium, and other toxic metals that people are just breathing in. That is a heavy-handed metaphor, if I've ever seen one. Secretary of State Little Marco Rubio is scheduled to meet with Pope Leo in Rome today, just as Marco's boss accused the Pope of endangering Catholics by being against the Iran war. And the Pope did not turn the other cheek on this one, responding that he isn't afraid of the U.S. administration, he will continue to advocate for peace, and also, no, we definitely don't support Iran getting a nuclear weapon, clown. This is just me summarizing. He didn't say it like that. A quick update on the redistricting wars. The FBI raided the office of Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, the Democrat who led Virginia's recent redistricting that led residents of Virginia to vote for Democrats to net 4 new seats in Congress, assuming the gerrymandering is accurate. The FBI showed up yesterday morning with a warrant to search Lucas's office and confirmed she's under investigation, but they did not say what they're investigating. Maybe it's just that in February she tweeted at Ted Cruz that Republicans started the redistricting fight and, quote, "We finished it." She may as well have written 86 seats in Congress. SpaceX and Anthropic announced a partnership yesterday in which Anthropic will get access to SpaceX AI's computing power to boost capacity for its Claude Pro and Claude Max AI assistants, which are products I swear I'm not advertising. They also say they're exploring space-based data centers together. Maybe just put them all in space. You guys go right ahead. We're right behind you. This is a big deal for Elon because it gives him a massive blue chip customer to brag about as SpaceX is trying to have an IPO, so that Elon can become the world's first miserable trillionaire. But in practice, all this deal really is a means to boost their mutual valuations as our economy continues to be something like 100 data servers in a trench coat. On a related note, remember Shark Tank Kevin O'Leary's giant data center that he wants to build? The one that's over twice the size of Manhattan and will consume double the electricity of the entire state of Utah? That project has officially been approved by the relevant board in Box Elder County, much to the fury of residents who led vocal protests against it. However, Shark Tank Kevin wrote off those protesters as paid, not actually people who live in Utah or the county, and also AI generated. Or maybe they just don't want a toxic island-sized monstrosity in their backyards? Wouldn't be so wonderful if it were your backyard, would it, Mr. Wonderful? And finally, the Kennedy creature who oversees our nation's public health tweeted yesterday that he's going to end the FDA's, quote, aggressive suppression of alternative therapies such as raw milk, ivermectin, psychedelics, and sunshine. What he's referencing on that one is an FDA rule, which he just withdrew, that would have banned minors from using devices that mimic sunlight, such as indoor tanning beds. For context, the World Health Organization, which we're no longer part of, classifies tanning beds as a Group 1 carcinogen on par with cigarettes and asbestos. And all this very flimsy little FDA rule would have required people who use indoor tanning facilities to sign a form acknowledging the risks of cancer, early skin aging, and other health effects. Not to mention the risk of looking like RFK Jr. I think we have to change the acronym to MAHMA, Make America Have Melanoma Again, because RFK Jr. simply will not stand for minors being banned from Palm Beach Tan. Until tomorrow, I'm Sammy Sage, and now you know what the fuck is going on. Make sure to follow us on YouTube at Betches News.